Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pro Wrestling Inside and Out Live. This is the Tuesdays Wrestling Talk, and on this episode, we will talk about the fabulous Freebirds. That's right, the fabulous Freebirds, Michael Hayes and Terry Gordy. Buddy Roberts, not with them yet. The early years, Buddy Roberts has not joined them yet. Part three. Buddy Roberts joins them in Mid-South Wrestling. But right now, we're getting started. We're in 1979. If you've not watched part one, it is available on our Facebook page. It is also available on YouTube. You can go and check it out. The Fabulous Freebirds, part one. Here we are, part two, and we are joined with Jack Lord. He's Bad Street USA. The
Bad Street.
And we're with Rodney West as well. And we're going to be looking at 1979. The Fabulous Freebirds at this point is wrestling for Nick Goulas out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee. And then we'll be looking when they go to Memphis, Tennessee. Some spectacular stuff. Once we get to Memphis, I want to talk about their first appearance. I don't know if y'all have seen it. Their first appearance on Memphis television, but it is something to behold, no doubt. All right, I say it's no time but the present to get started. Jack, if you'll lead us off, and we'll start this about their part two, the Fabulous Freebirds.
All right. April 4th, 1979, Fairground Sports Arena in Nashville, Tennessee. Robert Gibson and the Mexican Angel defeated Terry Gordy and Michael Hayes. April the 8th, 1979, Memorial Auditorium in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee faced Terry Gordy and Michael Hayes, ended without a winner and a time limit draw. April the 11th, 1979, Fairground Sports Arena, Nashville. Terry and Michael defeated Robert Gibson and the Mexican Angel for the NWA Mid-American Tag Titles in a 2 out of 3 falls match. April the 18th, Fairground Sports Arena, Nashville, Tennessee. Don Fargo defeated Terry Gordy in a brass knuckles match. April 25th, Sports Arena, Nashville, Tennessee. Terry Gordy and Michael Hayes defeated Don Fargo and Coco B. Ware for the NWA Mid-American Tag Titles. Let's see. April 29th, Memorial Auditorium, Chattanooga. Terry Gordy, Michael Hayes versus Tom Renesto and Tom Renesto Jr. ended without a winner as a double disqualification.
Now, that picture, that is not Tom Ernesto Jr. sitting down. Tom Ernesto standing. That is not Tom Ernesto Jr. That is Nick Goulas.
And if you read that, I think it says Nick Goulas, world's greatest promoter, I believe. No, hey, you just have to ask Nick. He'll tell you he's the world's greatest promoter. I think
he did top himself every week by providing the greatest card he's ever signed for whatever town.
Yeah, it's always one up himself.
I love that.
All right. May 5th, 79, Memorial Auditorium, Chattanooga. Terry and Michael versus Tom Renesto and Tom Renesto Jr. Winner unknown in a bull wire match. I've never heard of a bull wire match, but here we go. May 12th, Memorial Auditorium in Chattanooga. Terry and Michael versus the Sheik and Tom Renesto ended without a winner as a double countout. May 20th in Chattanooga, Terry and Michael defeated the Sheik and Tom Renesto in a stretcher match.
Here is a newspaper ad. It says Terry Gordy, Michael Hayes win in a pro wrestling tag match. A wild 28-minute stretcher match between Terry Gordy and pretty boy Michael Hayes and Tom Renesto Sr. and Bobo. But that don't say that's Bobo Brazil, ain't it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? That's on down the road. Go ahead, Jack. I'm sorry. I put this in the wrong spot. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. May 26th, Memorial Auditorium. Terry Gordy and Michael Hayes defeated Bobo Brazil and Tom Renesto Jr. in a hair versus hair match.
I remember them promoting that one match.
Okay, now here's this one.
Okay.
May 30th, 79, Fairground Sports Arena in Nashville. Terry and Michael defeated Tom Ernesto and Bobo Brazil in a stretcher match.
Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, now we'll just redo it again. Terry Gordy and Michael Hayes win in a pro wrestling tag match, a wild 28-minute stretcher match between Terry Gordy and Pretty Boy Michael Hayes and Tom Ernesto Sr. of Bobo Brazil. Ended with Ernesto being carried for the ring in a stretcher at the fairgrounds last night. Hayes and Ernesto collided head-on outside the ring. Then Hayes covered Ernesto to pick up the victory in a one-fall match. In an earlier match, Bobby Eaton and Prince Tonga, which I believe is that Haku?
I believe so.
Picked up a disqualification victory over Dennis Condrey and Chris Cope in the third fall of a scheduled free fall event. Gypsy Joe successfully defended his NWA World Brass Knucks Championship in a match with Coco Ware, while the Great Togo made a wild Nashville debut with a decision over the Mexican Angel in the first event before a capacity crowd. Rick Morton defeated the Boston Strangler.
All right. Very good. I love that. I would like to have seen that. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. That was a full night of wrestling action, if you will. Okay, am I picking it up now? We go.
Yeah, you're picking it up.
All right, so coming up June 2nd, 1979, Memorial Auditorium, Chattanooga, Tennessee. It was Terry Gordy and Michael Hayes defeating Tom Ernesto and Bobby Eaton. The Mid-America Tag Team Championship was on the line. And then we had on June the 9th, 1979, right back at Memorial Auditorium again. It was looks like a 6-man tag team match as Tom Ernesto Jr. and Bobby Eaton defeated Terry Gordy, Michael Hayes, and the Masked Super Secret, which I have a feeling that it was really announced as the Masked Superstar, and then when he got to the arena, it ended up being the Super Secret.
Anyone out there were they at Chattanooga that night and can tell us who the Masked Super Secret was?
The Masked Super Secret.
As we see Tom Ernesto Jr.
I love this. I love this. His shirt. I love that shirt. Absolutely great. All right, then we go back to Memorial Auditorium on June the 16th, 1979. It was Terry Boulder versus Terry Gordy. Winner was unknown. Then we have we're back at Memorial Auditorium on the June the 23rd, 1979. Dennis Condrey, the champion, defeated Terry Gordy. Went against Terry Gordy. Winner unknown. That was for the Mid-America Heavyweight Championship. Then on the 30th of June, 1979, right back at Memorial Auditorium again, it's Gypsy Joe and Tom Ernesto against Terry Gordy and Michael Hayes. Winner unknown there. June 4th, or July the 4th, 1979, the Fairgrounds Sports Arena in Nashville. Tom Ernesto and Gypsy Joe defeated Terry Gordy and Michael Hayes, and they changed the titles changed that night. The Mid-America Tag Team Champions are now Tom Ernesto and Gypsy Joe.
And here's a card from June 13th, 1979. Can you read that, Rodney, or do I need to?
It was the main event for the NWA Mid-America Heavyweight Championship. Loser leaves town grudge match. Dennis Condrey, the champion, versus Chris Colt, the challenger. No time limit, no disqualification. Another main event, NWA Mid-America Tag Team Championship match. Terry Gordy and Pretty Boy Michael Hayes, the champions, defend against the Sheik and Tom Ernesto Sr. Brass Knuckles rules match. Gypsy Joe versus Bobby Eaton. World Tag Team Battle. It's Tojo Yamamoto and the Great Togo against Coco Ware and the Mexican Angel. Butcher Hoffman against Prince Toga. Tickets are on sale all day Tuesday and Wednesday at Barry's Jewelry and Loan Company. That is at 2017 4th Avenue. A phone number there, 255-890.
And by the way, don't call that number. Don't call that number. There's no wrestling.
Watch Big Time Wrestling, WTV, TV 5, 2 to 3 on Saturdays.
Channel 7. This next one, Rodney, after you tell the people about this next one, I believe is the Oxford one, right?
Right.
We need to discuss that just a little bit.
All right, then we go. Okay, that was a July the 4th match. Then we're going to do Georgia Championship Wrestling in Oxford. That's on July the 5th, 1979. And it's Jerry Barber and Betty Dixon against Terry Gordy and Michael Hayes, winner unknown.
And we were there for that event. And that match was tremendous. Jerry Barber was a tremendous wrestler. I don't remember much about Buddy Dixon. I just remember the match being really, really good that night. And what it was Georgia Championship Wrestling. Our father, Ron West, booked Oxford, Alabama. And I think they sent one match, and I can't remember who it was at this point, but they sent one match, and then Nick Gula sent the rest of the matches for the show. But it was a Georgia Championship Wrestling show, and people said, well, I didn't know they did it. Well, back then, during this point in time, a lot of times Georgia Championship Wrestling sent a lot of talent to Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Yeah,
to be part of the show. So
and to Birmingham as well.
So that was a great match, great. And it was, somebody asked me, because we put this on Facebook, and they said, did it do well? Yes, it was packed. It was sold out, and that there's no doubt about it in that. And that was a good night of wrestling. That's the first time we saw the Freebirds in person, and we knew they were going to be something big even after that night, because they had that crowd going. All right, go ahead, Ryan.
All right, then we go to July the 11th, 1979, Fairground Sports Arena, Nashville, Prince Tonga versus Terry Gordy. That ended without a winner as a time limit draw. Then we go July the 18th, Fairground Sports Arena, Nashville, Tennessee. Tojo Yamamoto and the Great Togo defeated Terry Gordy and Michael Hayes. Then it's CWF television, CWA TV taping in Memphis, July the 21st, 1979, at the WMC Studios in Memphis. Terry Gordy and Michael Hayes defeated Steve Regal and Ricky Morton, 2 out of 3 fall match on television.
All right. I have what happened in that match, because I watched today. Did y'all watch? Did you see the Freebirds against Morton and Regal on television? Y'all see that match?
No, I didn't see it.
The first fall, Morton does what he does best. He sells like nobody. Even then, he was selling tremendously. And they go and they do a move. They did this thing where they throw the guy. Michael Hayes would give the guy and Terry Gordy would catch him after, and he drammed her. I mean, right on his shoulder. And I mean, he was selling that shoulder. And so they leave there, because what was the deal they used to do in Memphis wrestling? It would be the whole TV show, but at the end of it, they would say something about the time.
Expiration of time match. So you would have the expiration of time, and in that match, to win the match is the team or the person or the wrestler with the most falls at the end of the time.
But he gave him a back body drop. He picks him up. He does the shoulder. He's selling that thing. I mean, he's rolling. He's really selling it. So they come back with a second fall, and the Freebirds are out there saying, "Oh, I don't care if Ricky Morton can't get out there. You bring anybody out here. I don't care who you bring out here. You just get them out here." And so Bill Dundee comes into the match, and they do the same thing. They do something to Regal where they throw him in. His leg gets hooked into the ropes, and they pound it. They hurt him. Jerry Lawler comes in with Bill Dundee. They get a disqualification. The Freebirds win the match, and great match. It's available on YouTube. I'm not going to tell anybody where that's available, but you can go find it on YouTube. And great match.
Excellent. So now we come up at the Mid-South Coliseum on July the 23rd, 1979. It's Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee defeating Michael Hayes and Terry Gordy. And then we're back at Mid-South Coliseum again on July the 30th, 1979. It's Jerry Lawler and Randy Tyler versus Terry Gordy and Michael Hayes, winner unknown. And then on August the 4th, they're in the American Legion Arena, Jonesboro, Arkansas. Michael Hayes and Terry Gordy defeated Steve Regal and Eddie Gilbert.
Oh, by the way, folks, continuously bring in your comments and your questions. We're going to get to them when we finish the whole lineup of the cards. But before we go, Jack, pick up from here. We have to talk about the Freebirds first coming to Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay. August 6, 79, Mid-South Coliseum, Memphis, Tennessee. Terry Gordy and Michael Hayes defeated Jimmy Valiant and Steve Regal by disqualification. August the 10th, Sports Arena in Tupelo, the famous Tupelo, Mississippi. Bill Dundee and Steve Regal versus Michael Hayes and Terry Gordy, winner unknown. August the 20th, Mid-South Coliseum, Memphis, Tennessee. Michael Hayes and Terry Gordy defeated Tommy and Eddie Gilbert.
All right.
August the 28th, Louisville Gardens in Louisville, Kentucky. Terry Gordy and Michael Hayes defeated Steve Regal and Ed Boulder, who went on to, he got a little notoriety after this time. August the 29th, Bolivar, I guess that's how you say it, Tennessee. Eddie Gilbert and Steve Regal defeated Michael Hayes and Terry Gordy by DQ. September 1st, American Legion Arena in Jonesboro, Arkansas. Terry Gordy and Michael Hayes defeated Terry Boulder and Steve Regal. September 3rd, Mid-South Coliseum, Memphis, Tennessee. Michael and Terry defeated Sonny King and Ricky Morton. And September 17th, also at the Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis, Wayne Ferris and Larry Latham defeated Michael Hayes and Terry Gordy for the AWA Southern Tag Team titles.
All right, then we pick up. It is on September 23rd, 1979, back at Memorial Auditorium in Chattanooga, Tennessee. It was Tojo Yamamoto and Hans Schroeder against Terry Gordy, Michael Hayes, winner unknown. Then we come up on September the 27th, 1979, at the high school gym in Bruce, Mississippi. Hector Guerrero and Steve Regal faced the team of Terry Gordy and Michael Hayes, winner unknown there. And then we are, it's October the 10th, Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Coliseum in Evansville, Indiana. Billy Graham and Steve Regal against Terry Gordy and Michael Hayes, winner unknown there. And then October the 12th, American Legion Arena in Blytheville, Arkansas. Ricky Morton versus Terry Gordy, winner unknown. Then we come up on October the 12th, again at the American Legion Arena in Blytheville. It was Buddy Wayne, Kenny Wayne, Terry Gordy, and Michael Hayes versus Tommy Gilbert, Eddie Gilbert, Sonny King, and Ricky Morton, winner unknown. And then we go with Georgia Championship Wrestling in Knoxville at the Coliseum in Knoxville. It's Mr. Wrestling 2 defeating Terry Gordy. That's on November the 16th of 1979.
Here's a card from about that time. It was in Monday, August 27th. Main event, AWA World's Heavyweight Championship, Jerry Lawler against Nick Bockwinkel. Southern Heavyweight title, Ron Bass with Sonny King against Bill Dundee. And there we see Terry Gordy and Michael Hayes against Steve Regal and Rick Morton. Southern Tag Team title, Wayne Ferris and Larry Latham with Sergeant Danny Davis against that Terry Boulder character, which would become the Hulk, and Tommy Gilbert. Buddy and Ken Wayne against Dallas Montgomery and Eddie Gilbert.
Wow, a lot of tag match on that card.
I guarantee that was a packed house at the Mid-South Coliseum on Monday, August 27th. Ain't no doubt. Here's another one. Jarrett Wrestling Company presents Wrestling Monday, July 23rd, Mid-South Coliseum. The Hulk and Eddie Boulder, which would become Brutus, the Barber Beefcake, against Ron Bass and Pete Austin. Don't know that I know Pete Austin. Anybody know Pete Austin here?
I don't remember him.
Wayne Ferris, Larry Latham, and Sergeant Danny Davis against Jackie and Rough House Fargo.
The Blonde Bombers.
Yes, they were a great tag team, by the way. Against Terry Gordy and Michael Hayes. Vivian St. John against the Fabulous Moolah. Take this match. Tommy Gilbert against Buddy Wayne. Hans Schroeder and the Gestapo against Steve Regal. By the way, Steve Regal, tremendous wrestler. And it's not the Steve Regal that most people would know. That's not that Steve Regal. And Randy Kyler. And first match is Ricky Morton and Eddie Gilbert against Ken Wayne and the Hangman. Here's another card, and it's written all over.
Yeah.
This is Memphis Wrestling, the Mid-South Coliseum. I think that was the one we just seen, wasn't it? Is that not the same one? If I could read that, folks, I could probably tell you what it says. But I'm not
okay. So it said in the main event it went 8 minutes, and in the winners in 8 minutes and 12 seconds by disqualification was the Hulk and Eddie Boulder. Then it was the match landed in 10 minutes, 8-second match just stopped through the fighting between these three. Of course, Jackie Fargo, Rough House. Who would have guessed that with Rough House? Let's see, it was Lawler and Dundee in the looks like winning in that one in 17 minutes and 14 seconds. In the women's title match, looks like it was a double disqualification for fighting. Ended in 3 minutes, 45 seconds, or maybe that's 8 minutes, 45 seconds. And tape fist match looked like in about 5 seconds with the cradle. No, it was 1:30. I don't know. It's Buddy Wayne beating Tommy Gilbert. And then let's see. It looks like 8 minutes, 29 seconds. It was Steve Regal and Randy Tyler over the Gestapo and Hans Schroeder. Looks like they were a spinning top hold. It was a spinning top hold. I don't know what that means. Maybe it was the airplane spin. Is what maybe I'm guessing. Awesome. And then it was, let's see, Eddie Gilbert and Ricky Morton defeating Ken Wayne and the Hagman. That looks like 5 minutes, 19 seconds with the crossbody.
I'm looking at this real quick here. Did they have 2 finishes of the same thing? Because didn't they have a top body press and then come up here with Bill Dundee and them? Didn't that match end in a top body press as well?
It does say that. It does say that. But you know what? When you have something, and you'll see that when we watch, when we review Raw, when something works, you just keep doing it. You know
there he is. Beware the Hawk. The Hawk right there. Before he was Hulk Hogan, he was just the Hawk. And then here's another one. Jerry Lawler against Bill Dundee. Oh, boy. Sonny King against the Hawk.
You have to do your Lance Russell when you do it, don't you, Dave?
Yes, you do. Here we go. Wait first. Larry Lathan against Tommy and Eddie Gilbert. Wait a minute, I should start that up. The superstar wrestling Billy Dundee takes on the King, Jerry Lawler. Sonny King against the Hawk. That should be a tremendous match. It probably was a tremendous match. Southern Tag Team title match, Wayne Ferris and Larry Lathan with Sergeant Danny Davis against Tommy and Eddie Gilbert, Steve Regal, Eddie Boulder against the Freebirds. There we are, Terry Gordy and Michael Hayes. And with that, before we go to everybody, insiders, thank you so much for all your comments and questions. We're going to get to them, but we have to talk about the Freebirds the first time they're on television. Rodney, did you see this?
I did. It's awesome. And Terry Gordy says, I just want you to be it. I'm going to show you something here today on the program here, Lance. It's going to be something you're going to be amazed by. And and of course he had Michael Hayes, he had a towel over his head. And it was like that if he pulled the towel off, that we're going to see something that might be grotesque. So he said, okay, get ready. I want you to show it. And then he tears the thing off, and it was Michael standing there doing this. There's a beautiful man right there. Right now.
Michael Hayes could do the interview even then.
Well, Terry could too. When we were showing that picture earlier of Terry with the microphone, I could hear his voice when you were, right here. Let me tell you something there, boy. There ain't nobody in no town you've been in. I don't care if you're in Nashville or Chattanooga or them little rickety town like Rossville, Georgia. I don't care what town you're in. When Terry Gordy comes, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to bust some head.
Yeah,
I could just hear that voice. I could just hear his voice when you showed that picture. Man,
you know, it's one thing to hear it, but it's another thing to be on the other side of it.
In that match, the first match, Bill Dundee sells that whole match for the.
Eric Falding said that was a spinning toe hold and not a spinning.
Oh, okay.
He was able to zoom in on that. It was spinning toe hold, not spinning leg hold.
Okay, so neither one of them did the same thing. But the first match, Bill Dundee sells the whole time for them. I mean, he sells the whole time, and they beat Bill Dundee in the first fall. The second fall, Bill does sell again for the whole match. He gets to tag the Jerry Lawler. I think they're setting up the turn by this time because Bill don't even get time to rest before Lawler tags him back out again. But this time, sunset flip. And Terry Gordy goes down 1, 2, 3. Now, in between these falls, I have to say this. Michael Hayes gets out there and he does an interview and he says, these are the words he says. Michael Hayes, this is a quote he says, "We're not related by blood, but by money, and that means more."
I'm going to tell you, Michael.
I love that. I love that quote right there from
Beautiful.
that I got from there. And then the third file, it just comes out a big old fight, and oh boy, I tell you what, Lance Russell, Dave Brown, and the whole show is tremendous. If you haven't seen it, go to YouTube and watch it.
And even at that point, they're very polished. Hayes and Gordy are polished. They are stars, and you can tell it. They are stars, and they know exactly what they're doing when they step out there. And they were awesome. Awesome.
Okay, now it's time for the insiders and their comments and questions. And people saying hello. Theodore is with us. How you doing, Theodore? Dustin Henshaw says, "Hey guys, I'm glad Jack survived the first day of school."
Oh Lord, boy, have we got a story to tell?
Eric Faulty said, "Good evening from Shreveport, Louisiana." Hey. Michael Storbit is with us. Let's see, Mickey Mayfield. I love when the Freebirds came to Georgia Championship. Oh, they did that so well. They played that music, and it was just spectacular.
I've said that many times. I was in the Omni that first night, and I've never before or since seen an entrance like that.
And, they were the first people that really Georgia Championship Wrestling really allowed to have music. I can remember when it first came on, they played that Freebird music right at the beginning of the show. And they said, well, today, Gordon Sully said, well, today we're going to see, and he told them, he says, we're going to see a great tag team, the fabulous Freebirds, Terry Gordy, Michael Hayes, and Buddy Roberts. And then they come out there with their robes and stuff on. They just look like stars.
Yep.
Class, total class. And then the oratory skills of Michael Hayes. I mean, he.
What'd you say?
Oratory skills.
Okay.
That means to be able to do an interview.
Okay. So
well, apparently not only you don't know that, but many of the people that we're going to review Thursday didn't know how to do that
either. Lee Shelton, he was Harry Thornton was his uncle,
and he was his, and yeah, we had Harry's picture up earlier, with Michael and Terry.
Yeah, I talked to you, Lee, just a little bit today. We're going to try to get together and talk some shop.
Hey, there's Retro Rob.
Good evening to you, Retro. Kenneth Smith said, bringing back a lot of memories there, guys. Well, that's what we tried to do. We want to tell the history of professional wrestling. That's all we care about doing. Tell the history of wrestling. Michael said the Freebirds. Yeah. There's nothing like the Freebirds. And, and I'm going to tell you, Terry Gordy and Michael Hayes were great. They didn't really want Buddy Roberts with them.
Yeah.
They were fighting it. They didn't want him, but once he became a member, and you would never think about the Freebirds without Buddy Roberts in them, no doubt. James William Lawrence III. Hello, gentlemen. Greetings from West Virginia. Sorry I'm late. That's all right. We will put you down for a $50 fine, but next time, make sure, and you can pay that to Patreon at.
It'll be cashed in at Bees.
That's right, Bees. Oh, that's great.
Richard, it said just checked into the Greatest Wrestling Podcast. Thank you so much, Richard.
Thank you.
Michael Mayfield, do you guys remember Buddy Jack Roberts and Jerry Brown, the Hollywood Blondes before the Birds? Yes.
Yep.
Sure do.
They were a great tag team. They wrestled for Ann Gunkel's promotion in Georgia. I think that would have been the Outlaw promotion for the time, but they were a great tag team. And you can go back, if people haven't seen it, I think that don't they have some of their matches on YouTube?
Sure do. I've watched them. It's full shows of all South Wrestling. So you'll be looking for All South Wrestling. I believe it was Hollywood Blondes, but also I think the Assassin was on there as well. Seemed like I remember that.
Now we're going to bring Eric his thing on there. Don't get mad at him because he said this is not a knock to Buddy Roberts by any means. But how in the end of the group, just seeing Terry and Micah were the bigger stars. I believe you might be right.
Yeah, I don't think there's any argument there, but it turned out to be a great addition. Buddy more than pulled his weight. Buddy was the workhorse out of all three of them. And if you never saw them, the three of them together, man, they were they were special.
Oh, Rick Brooks from Foulmouth, Kentucky. Today on our Facebook page, we put a Lou Thez photograph with Ron West holding his hand up high, and Rick said he didn't have a good experience with Lou Thez. And I made sure I got back with him and said, we've all had those experiences that we like to forget. Not like you're the only one that's ever had them bad experiences. I think we all have in this room. Eric said, is that the same Gypsy Joe that New Jack wrestled in the retirement match?
I believe so.
Yes, that was an unfortunate incident. If anybody watched that, I believe is that on YouTube as well?
It was.
I don't know that you want to go watch it. I don't know. Maybe Gypsy asked for that beating. I don't know.
Well, I think Gypsy was proving a point that I don't care how bad you are, you ain't hurting me.
Yeah. That was the one thing my grandmother, who loved Gypsy Joe, he said I'd watched him just beat him to a pulp, and he just kept coming and kept coming. That was his deal.
Yep.
Rick Brooks said a friend of mine that wrestled Kamala on Is your Google going off again?
No, this is my phone this time. I mean, come on.
Okay. Well, now tell Vince McMahon that we will not be able to handle any problems that he has until we go off the air. We'll all get in a car.
That's going to be a very long call there. I got to put my phone on charge.
Well, Rick Brooks said a friend of mine that wrestled Kamala on WFTV also wrestled the legend Bobo Brazil, as well as Matt Thorne and Big Johnson Sting. Yes, guys, Sam lost those matches too. Rick, you're never going to let me live that down when I said that he got beat. I'm pretty sure he got beat in there, but Bobo Brazil wasn't going down anyway, so that's. I don't think my wrestler I like was Abdullah the Butcher. So Abdullah the Butcher. Let's see. Dr. Philbo Grice. Hello, Professor. Sorry I'm late for class. I think someone else was late as well. We'll go ahead and put you down for a $50 fine as well. The Insiders now 100 goes into our Patriot to build the place. So we'll get with you for that fine. We come back from the Bill Watts.
We might just stay at B's restaurant all day that day.
That's right.
The Freebirds Tony Trimble. The Freebirds have always been my favorite tag team since I first saw them on WMC TV in 1979. Their stay in Memphis wasn't long, but their stay in Memphis was really, really good. It's so funny because they were so seasoned by that time. Michael Hayes says the reason they left there so early because he said that they were in Memphis and they were having a match. They're going to have the match with Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee. And he said that, they came down the ring doing what they do. And he said he could just look at Jerry Lawler. You could just see this look on his face. And he said after that, they decided to go ahead and leave and go to Louisiana for Bill Watts. So I don't know what that look was on his face. It must have been really bad.
It was probably the look of jealousy. Somebody else was getting over in Memphis. He didn't care for that.
Kevin wants to say hello from Parts
Unknown. Yes.
I believe he could also. His alias may be James Brown. So
what?
Yeah, I think that's Kevin. I believe that's James Brown. Richard here said Robert Gibson got Michael Hayes started into the wrestling business. Yes, he did. He was putting up rings. Robert Gibson was putting up the rings for Gulf Coast Championship Wrestling, and Michael Hayes was running around out there just standing outside waiting for somebody to ask him to come in and help, and that's exactly what happened. No, he was going to the wrestling matches, and he asked him one time, would you want to help us put up the wrestling ring? Because you're always looking for somebody to help you put the wrestling ring.
Yep. Sure.
That's always hard to do. Bill Harris. Hi, Jack, Rodney, and Brent.
Hey, Bill.
Bill Harris said, great show, and thank you so much, Bill. We certainly appreciate it. Definitely, Bill Harris, definitely a great professional wrestler. Had some great matches. We saw him in Deep
we
South.
inducted Bill into the Southeast Wrestling Hall of Fame this year.
I am right. One of the Nightmares, right? With Ted Allen. Great matches. In 1989, he was. We was just that close to giving him a telephone call in 1989 for Continental Championship Wrestling, but things broke loose, and we weren't unable to give him a call. Michelle said, "I used to watch the Freebirds on World Class Championship Wrestling, and their fuse of the Von Erichs." He said he liked your shirt, Jack.
Thanks.
Where can somebody get a shirt, a badge?
This is from Collar and Elbow, CXE, Collar and Elbow. And proceeds go to, I believe, Miranda. His daughter gets proceeds from this shirt.
So you do really need to get over there and get that shirt. It goes to, if it goes to her, it gives her a little bit of, because I think you said that she is the champion or something now.
She is. SWE wrestling out in Texas, which to me is one of the better old school oriented wrestling shows today. And she became their latest champion, I think, Sunday at their TV tapings.
Kevin said all those second-generation wrestlers in Memphis territory grew up together. Yes, there's no doubt. Ken Wayne, Ricky Morton, several other ones. Bill Harris said the spinning toe hold. He's been there for the spinning toe. Richard Hood said Terry Bam Bam Gordy could work, and Buddy Roberts was the glue that kept the team going. And don't forget Michael Hayes. You know, people will say this about Michael Hayes, and I've heard people say, "Well, Buddy and Terry's the one that he just followed the." Well, that's what they wanted you to believe.
Yeah.
Michael Hayes was never supposed to be looking as good as Terry Gordy and Buddy Roberts. Never. He knew how to play his role, so you still, to this day, believe it. That Michael Hayes was, because Michael Hayes was very good. His punches looked good. He could sell. He could everything he did, but he was always supposed to look like he was not as strong as the two people. He did his part, right, guys?
Right.
He was great. I wrestled Michael a lot of times, so yeah, I love being in the ring with him.
Tony Ledoux. Hello, guys. Sound great.
Hey, Tony.
I see a picture of him and Mike Jackson. Mike Jackson must have been tag team throughout the. Where were they a tag team, Jack? Do you know?
I know they tagged a lot in here in Alabama and wherever else they wound up going to.
All right, Eric was telling us before that was the spinning toe hold.
Spinning toe hold, yes.
Kevin Penley, I want to hear Rodney do his Jim Barnett impression. Well, we've heard Terry Gordy, so now James E. Barnett there.
We'll do that at a proper time.
We may have to do a Patreon channel for that, because there's some stories we can tell we can't tell here.
When we'd always heard Dad had his own. Everybody has an impression, and Dad he would do his, and Dad wasn't spot on. I'm just going to tell you. So I'm at the office doing what we're talking about, cleaning out. We talked about cleaning out the closet, and Mr. Barnett comes into the office, and I thought they were just messing. Okay, I'm like 13 or 14, I guess, 12, and I come out. He said, Dad said, "Come out here. I want you to meet Mr. Barnett," and he met me, and I just about laughed in his face. And I told Dad, I said, "Don't ever." He said, "I thought y'all were just making that up. What you're just." When he talked, I just about lost it right to his face.
Jim Barnett was a great man, though.
Yes, absolutely. He was very nice to me. And you know what? I wasn't supposed to be paid, but he had to be paid for that day. Come in there and hand me some money. He was very nice.
He was a great man. He was a nice.
I was enjoying every moment of being there.
And knew the wrestling business. Jim Barnett understood the wrestling business. He understood if it didn't draw, you were gone. People talk about, well, Ole Anderson was a bad guy. Ole Anderson was bad. No, he wasn't. He just didn't want to become your friend. So when he got ready to fire you, he could fire you.
Right.
That's what happened to the wrestling business. A lot of the territories, they started being friends with these people and never get rid of them. And Ole didn't want to do that. He didn't want to be your friend. When it was time to get rid of you, he wanted to get rid of you, and he didn't want to have to feel bad about it. I think that's great business myself.
And it worked for him.
Yes, it worked. It did work for him.
It works for me.
Stewart said the proper Arbicell is missing in the matches today, either face or heel. And boy, when you watch the Freebirds on Memphis Wrestling, Ricky Morton is selling. Bill Dundee is selling. Steve Regal is selling because that's the only way you're going to be able to get the heels over, because people have to know they'll do whatever they have to do to beat you and beat you down. And then when they make them comebacks, really, if you watch Memphis Wrestling, the first fall, the people were just kind of sitting there. They really wasn't making a lot of noise. But that second fall, then people were up. The art of psychology, they knew what they were doing. Stewart also said proper interviews. Man, I missed those heartfelt feelings. Yes. Rick said I did get to see the Fabulous Freebirds in person a few times in Cincinnati. You know what was sad though? It was was it 1980? They did all that where Terry Gordy went one way and Michael Hayes went the other way. I mean, they were just getting themselves established as a tag team, and they all split up. That was kind of sad for a while. Retro Rob said, "I'm glad you didn't cover the Walmart Freebirds." Hey,
that's episode. That will be section 5 or so, way on down the road.
A couple of parts, because Mid-South Wrestling will take probably a couple of parts itself. A lot of things happen in Mid-South Wrestling, so we have a lot to talk about on part 3 when we talk about the Fabulous Freebirds. Charles Alford, hello, gentlemen. Hello to you. Kevin said, I thought Terry Gordy was unique and fantastic on the mic. The Freebirds really complemented each other well, despite being so different. I think Kevin got it right. Exactly. That they were different, but that's what made them. I think that's what made the Freebirds. One of them were the Chaps, and I don't think they did at the beginning, but by the time they came to Atlanta, one of them were the Chaps and the cowboy hat. One of them just wore a robe, and one of them wore the jacket. That was superb thinking, and I think Michael Hayes is the one that came up with that. So
yeah.
Matt said, "Do you know who trained the Freebirds?" Terry Gordy was trained by, who was the guy?
Captain Hook.
Which was his uncle, correct? And then Michael Hayes was, I think he might have been trained by a few people down in, what's the guys that he really, really loved there? Hippie Boyette.
Yep.
Go back and look at pictures. Mike Boyette. Go back and look at pictures of Mike Boyette, and then look at pictures of Michael Hayes. He stole everything from him, even back when there for a while the Freebirds, Michael Hayes and Garvin, they'd wear the makeup. That came directly from the Boyettes in the Gulf Coast Championship Wrestling. So, there's not really a new ideal in professional wrestling. It's just taking ideals from someone else that they like. Larry Bebop Hathcock said, "Hey guys, Terry was the best technical wrestler of all the 3.
He was awesome."
We will agree with that. By the way, hello, Uncle Jack. Now we know why you came on the program and talked about Jack being so great. Now, he can't even do that no more.
He lives right up the road. I'm fixing to go take a cigar and stick in his eye.
There we go. Good evening, gentlemen. Sorry to arrive late. It is not a swerve, I promise. We've got 3 people now. Jeffrey, you'll be fined $50 for being late. Now we can go to 3 or 4 days to Beast Eat.
Yeah.
Mickey Mayfield said the Birds were real rock stars in world-class championship wrestling against Von Erichs. One of the greatest feuds. If you was to put the top 10 feuds in professional wrestling, it has to be the Von Erichs and the Freebirds.
Yep, undoubtedly.
That was one of the greatest feuds of wrestling history, and something that don't really exist anymore. There's no really real feuds anymore like they were back then. I mean, those feuds were personal. When you come in as Santa Claus and beat somebody up, now that's personal.
That's right.
That's personal, no doubt. Jeffrey said he will pay the fine. at Jenkins.
That just
I mean, it's a pretty good place to eat.
yeah, Jenkins is a great place to eat.
You're around Cleveland, Tennessee. Jenkins, great place to eat, and we didn't even get paid for that plug. Or did we not get paid for the bees plug?
No.
To see, Michael Hayes was a great talker.
Yeah,
one of the greatest guys to do an interview of all time. Now, if you're a new wrestling fan, greatest promo of all time. But back then, he did the greatest interview of all time.
yeah.
But we're all right.
Just put the microphone. Just give it to him. He'll take it from there. That's a gift right there.
Nothing written for anybody during that time frame. Maybe some people might have needed written for him, but not Michael Hayes. There's no doubt Michael Hayes. Maybe Jimmy Garvin at that time, somebody might need to tell him what to say. He wasn't as good on the mic as he would become, because he would become very good in the later years. Jim Casey, I was in the hotbed for seeing the Freebirds. I lived between Dallas and Shreveport.
Yeah. Awesome. If it was Freebirds against the Junkyard Dog one side and the Freebirds and the Von Erichs on the other. Wow.
Kevin said, did the Freebirds work Mid-Atlantic? I don't know.
They did. Yes, they did. Buddy and Terry was there without Michael Hayes. I saw a video some time ago. I've been watching a lot of Mid-Atlantic stuff, just great stuff. And they were there without Michael Hayes, and it just seemed like something was missing. There was a fire or just that third element that just didn't seem right.
Michael Barr is with us. Hello from Southeast Alabama. Richard Hood said Jim Barnett started out with Vern Gagne in the wrestling business on the Dumont Network in Chicago. Jim Barnett goes way back. That's the reason. If Jim Barnett was not took out of power of Georgia Championship Wrestling, the landscape of wrestling would be completely different today. Ole Anderson, even though we respect Ole Anderson, he didn't know how the wrestling business actually ran day-to-day business. He knew how to book it. I don't think he knew the day-to-day operations of wrestling and what you had to do to keep people happy. And that was the buildings, the television stations. There were a lot that had to be done to make sure they kept happy. And one of these days, we'll have to do a Patreon, because what we need to talk about may not be something we need to tell everybody in the whole world. It may need to be for a select few group of people of what had to go on back in those days. Marsala
Rome.
Marsala Rome. Thank you. I love that. Marsala Rome. That's a great wrestling name. I sure like to see some field footage of Hayes and Gordy as the only Freebirds, including when they were the pre-Freebirds. Then you can do so. Now, they weren't pre-Freebirds. They were still the Freebirds, but you can go and watch Memphis Wrestling. That's the earliest. I think that's the earliest that you can see them wrestling, because I don't think any Nick Goulas stuff exists, does it?
I've seen only one that I found, but they were not on there. Randy Savage was on there. Tom Ernesto Jr., the Mexican Angel was on it. Lanny Poffo, but there was no Hayes and Gordy was not on that particular one I found.
Michael Barr said the California hippie. My boy, yeah. I never saw him wrestle, so I never see any videos of him. So. All right, Michael, sorry I'm late. And Jack, you're not getting dangerous those cigars, are you? Yeah, he is. To his
possibly.
Michael, you're another one that's late. That's the fourth person, $50 fine. The insiders just can't be late. That's $50. Bill Watts taught us well. Thank you so much, Michael, for being a part of the show. Charles said, did the Freebirds use a basic finish? And a lot of times it was the pile driver by Terry Gordy back in the day. But I think
a lot of it was the back body drop. Terry catches them and then does like a power bomb. They used that a lot.
Seaboard Systems, that I met Terry Gordy when I was 11 years old in the 80s. Let me tell you, TV did not do him justice. He was a mountain of a man. Yes, he was. And a great person.
Yep.
Terry Gordy was a great person. And one of the greatest wrestlers. I have to put him up there as as one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. James Casey said the Freebirds would booed when they wrestled the Von Erichs, but cheered against anyone else. Now that's incredible. Except Buddy, he was booed all the time.
That's the truth.
This is true. Buddy just didn't have what Michael and Terry had, did he? He really didn't. I mean, for some reason. I guess because Michael and Terry was such a close, and people could feel that. I think the fans could feel that closeness that Terry and Buddy had. And just a great tag team. Jeffrey Archer said, saw Gordy work Lou Thez, UWA in Nashville, 75-76, worked as Terry Meeker or Mr. Wrestling. Mike Schaefer listening in Alabama. How you doing, Mike Schaefer? Thank you so much for being a part of Pro Wrestling Inside and Out. This is a talk about the fabulous Freebirds, Michael Hayes and Terry Gordy. The early years, I think it was 1979. I think most of all that was 1979, and we'll be getting into Mid-South Wrestling on part 3. Kevin Barkwell, some of the biggest names in wrestling had a run in Memphis territory. Yes. I mean, everybody did. I think anybody went through Memphis. And by the way, Terry Gordy and Terry Boulder wrestled several times, which become Hulk Hogan, several times in the Memphis territory. I did not write all those down that he wrestled against them, but he truly did wrestle with them a lot during that time. Kevin said, I think there is video on YouTube of Gordy wrestling Ernie Ladd. That's Mr. Wrestling at 13. But he's wrestling against Ernie Ladd is that other guy that's
Terry Mecca.
Terry Mecca. In fact, I believe that was his first match.
IWA, I believe it was what that was it not?
Richard Hood said one of the greatest angles in wrestling is when Michael Hayes blinded the Junkyard Dog. That was good. Did it again. Did it for the second time, Georgia Championship Wrestling. So
Junkyard Dog told me one time he had to get empty bank bags because he's getting paid so much for that angle.
Stuart said, I'm always on time. I know that $50 fine can hurt. That's Buddy Landell, but ain't your boy. Buddy Landell, that man paid Bill Watts to work. He got fined so many times. Well, there goes my T-shirts. $50 fine. Can I get off with a warning? The Freebirds were the great. Well, let me tell you, Grizzly Smith would not allow you to get off on a warning.
There will be no warnings. There are no warnings now.
I'm sorry, but
there are no warnings. Grizzly will not allow it.
We will let you segue over and hit that shop button and buy a few shirts,
though. Michael Mayfa, are y'all still doing the Terry Gordy Memorial Wrestling events? I think we did one of those. What year was that?
It was the year that he passed away. I can't remember. Was that 79? I mean, 99?
I can't remember.
98.
Somebody
98, 99, somewhere in there.
James Casey said Gordy had the Oreo spike. Yeah, he put that thing in that. That was a great little finish. Now, I believe that one might have been totally illegal, though. I'm not sure.
Not the way he used it.
So the way he used it was not illegal, but I'm thinking, ain't that like choking somebody? I'm not for sure, man. Maybe I'm completely wrong about this whole.
I lived through it, so.
Oh, there you go.
I did talk deeper for a week, but
Hayes and Gordy was with Killer Khan in Mid-South before they met again in Texas to battle with the Von Erichs. Jeffrey said, when Terry worked as Mr. Wrestling, I saw him work with Eric the Red. Somebody yelled to your eyes, get him, Terry. Well, Jeffrey said Terry passed in 2001. All right, guys, is there anything that we need to discuss about the Freebirds 1979, their early careers, before we leave today?
I think we've touched pretty much on everything.
Rodney, anything?
I think so.
Well, I want to tell everybody, if you have not visited our Teesprings shop, You can get to it from facebook.com/pro wrestling inside and out. We have t-shirts. So you see the Jack the Bomber t-shirt, his cup. I've got the t-shirt on, Pro Wrestling Inside and Out t-shirt. I've got that on. Visit that. Support the channel, facebook.com/pro wrestling inside and out. Hit the shop button. It'll take you right to the Teesprings shop, and you can go there and get you one of the souvenirs of Pro Wrestling Inside and Out, and it helps support the channel. Guys, there it is. And then here is this is Pro Wrestling Inside and Out, sure. All right,
go.
Michael wants to know why Kevin Von Erich didn't wear any boots. I figured he didn't want to buy them anymore.
I was talking to somebody about that the other day. He could do what he wanted to because it was Daddy's promotion. But anytime he went like to Florida or Central States or anywhere else that Dad sent him to wrestle at and get some seasoning, they all made him wear boots. So if you ever see a picture of him wearing boots, except for early in his career in Texas, he was somewhere else.
Yeah, Danny was saying that Terry was the best wrestler I ever seen. Started at 13 and was a seasoned pro by 18. Sure was. Absolutely.
Big old boy at 13 too.
He was.
Okay, folks, we do appreciate it. Part 3 will be coming soon, and we will talk about the days of Mid-South Wrestling, and that was tremendous.
Stars, just superstars right there.
And there's no doubt about that. We want to, if you're watching us on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. It lets us know. And also, subscribe to the channel. We're at 750 subscribers right now. We want to get to 1,000. And so help us get there and subscribe to the channel. And folks, thank you so much. We are over 9,000 followers now on Facebook. And we want to thank you so much for liking and sharing all of our stuff. It's getting us up there. And before long, we're going to be 10,000 followers, 10,000 insiders will be a part of this show.
We thank you very much, Bishop, for your words there. Thank you very much for that. He said he was just upset about what happened with the Continental thing, and we're upset about that too. But we will continue on, and we will revisit it come to the first of the year.
We will do so. Again, thank you so much for being a part of the show. We do appreciate it, and we will see you. Are we coming on Thursday night, guys?
Yeah, we're doing Thursday.
I'm ready. I've already got all my notes.
All right, Thursday night we'll do a return.
I'm ready. I am ready, willing, and just ready.
Pro Wrestling Inside and Out. Old school wrestling review. We'll review Raw. It's always fun. If you missed it on Monday night, I was a pretty nice guy during it. Jack was so. Rodney wasn't so nice. He turned heel.
Wait a minute.
I don't know if he can actually turn any more than he's already turned.
So he's just there.
He's just there.
He's there. He's the heel of the show. We give you an old school wrestling review of what's going on today in professional wrestling. And we'll see you on Thursday night as we do the old school wrestling review on Raw. Until then, as Gordon Soley said, so long from your living room.
Magic City. Yeah, whatever.